My name's Barry Bicklebottom, but you can call me B for short. If at any point you forget that, you remember I'm beautiful. Beautiful starts with a B. My name's B. Do you know Bear Grylls? Yeah, taught that man everything he knows. I ended up here, he ended up with a TV show. Does that seem fair, love? Yeah, didn't think so? I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Haha, alright guys, that was my character that I used in Adventure the other day as a facilitation technique so that the kids would pay attention to me. And it worked. I crushed it. My teacher loved the facilitation. She doesn't ever smile or laugh, and I got her to do both, which was awesome. Boom. Alright, there's a success right to start off the podcast. Love that. To be honest, this podcast is going to be a little bit all over the place, and I don't care that much, because as much as I want you guys to like it, this is for me, not for you. But you guys are important. Don't forget that. I mean, there's a combination, you know what I mean? Both of us of us are important. But me being all over the place is me being real, and I'm not going to be somebody fake while I'm recording this. Do you know what I mean? So, we had a snow day this week. This week? Last week? Last week. We had a snow day last week. And something that got brought up was the idea that the superintendent has to make snow day decisions based on the idea that some kids, if they have a snow day, they won't be getting food that day. Which hit me really hard. I got the chills in class, and it was so sad that that's reality for some kids, not only at my school but in the district, that sometimes school is more safe for students that are in struggling homes because they can get food at school and they can be safe and not have to worry about anything at school, whereas at home it's different. And I just thought that was so sad. I thought that it must be so tough being that kid, because that kid has to deal with the stress that any other kid at our school has to, with grades or whatever else. But she, whoever it is, has to also deal with the idea that their family isn't as well off as some of us are. Which sucks. That sucks. I know that I have white privilege. I know that's a real thing, and people who say that it's not real, I'd like to hear their argument, and I know that I have before, because I've listened to some Ben Shapiro videos or whatever, where he talks about how white privilege isn't real, but in my experience, it is, because the white people, the white kids that I know, they get treated way better than people of color. Which is so fucked up when you really think about that white privilege is a thing. Oh, that's, the idea that racism ever became a thing blows my fucking mind. For starters, what? And for second, also, the fuck? And for thirds, is going on right now? What person looked at somebody that looked a little bit different, a different tone than them, and was like, yeah, I'm better than you? Who the fuck did that? Obviously it was white people, which sucks. Fuck those white guys. Whoever came up with racism, I got real problems with him. But it's unfair. White privilege is very unfair, because I honestly believe that 9 times out of 10, white kids will get bailed out of their trouble more than people of color. Which maybe is a wrong statistic, and maybe I'm an idiot that doesn't know anything. But in my experience, that's how it's been. And that's how I see the world, is that we get treated better than other people do. And I wish I could fix that, but I can't, you know? That's part of the problem with having such fast thoughts, is the idea that you're going to think about everything, good and bad. You're going to think about the problems. And every time I think about a problem like that, such a big problem, it makes me upset, and even more, it just disappoints me that I really can't do anything about it. Like, how is some 17-year-old kid gonna fix that problem in the world? You know what I mean? Wow, we are getting into it. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is how it's gonna be, guys. This is how it's gonna be, this podcast. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it, because I don't care. With that being said, the idea of talking about something that you're not educated in. I don't know enough about this white privilege, quote-unquote, problem, or just racism in general, because I haven't done enough research. I don't know specific events. I don't know anything like that, and I want everyone to know that. That should be out there, is that I don't know enough. That's why I preface this with that maybe I'm don't know what I'm talking about. But it's not wrong to talk about something you're uneducated in. But maybe we should, as people, or I should, not argue about something I don't know anything about. I should never get in an argument. I believe that people should never get in an argument that they don't completely understand both sides. They have not done enough reading or whatever to learn about the issue. But that doesn't mean that people who don't know the issue shouldn't talk about it. I think it's important to talk about difficult things, whether you understand them or not, because more likely than not, either you'll end up back where you started, or you'll think through it, or you'll talk through it and understand a little bit more than you did going in. And that's a good thing. And you can ask questions. You can be like, well, why is it like that? Why do they believe that? Stuff like that, so that you're learning more. And then once you've learned, once you've educated yourself, then you can approach the issue with your solution on how to fix it. Because nothing makes me, I don't know about anybody else, but nothing makes me more upset than the idea of somebody's ignorance and unwillingness to learn get in the way of the real issue. For example, I was watching this video the other day, and basically this guy goes up to Democrats and says Donald Trump quotes, but tells them that Hillary said it. This was back when the campaigns were going on, and the Democrats immediately agreed. No matter how ridiculous the idea, like, he would say things like, we need to increase border security to prevent whatever and whatever. Something obviously Donald Trump has said, but Democrats, these people, not Democrats in general, but these people that were in the video, they just blindly jumped in and said yes. They didn't understand the issue. They didn't even understand the question that he was asking. And they were at, obviously he went to like rallies, right? Where all the people are. And he asked them these questions. These blatantly obvious questions that, had they been in the least bit educated, they would have understood and disagreed with. But they weren't, and assumed that whatever this person said was the truth. Which, especially with politicians, not all, but especially with most politicians, anything that comes out of their mouth should be double-checked. Because they will embellish the truth, per se. And I understand why they do. They want to get votes or whatever, and they want to change. Politicians, I believe politicians are good people on the deep down, but sometimes those people get lost in the politics, in everything else, and forget that I'm judging these people right now unfairly because I don't know them. But I honestly believe that they are good people, and sometimes, because I would too, I would get lost in the idea of chasing down votes and pleasing the people. Whereas what our leadership should be looking for is improvement and how they think that we can be better, right? Am I wrong? Like, that's what I want to do as a teacher and as a leader and as somebody that influences other people. I want to help them for the positive. I don't want to make it about myself. Does that make sense? That's like so paradoxical, I think. I think I'm using that word right. That you have to be a person that wants change, therefore you're being selfish, but you want change for others, which is not selfish. Therefore you're doing both, right? Right? Maybe that's why I want to be a teacher, is because I want to feel the fulfillment of teaching somebody something new, getting that light bulb moment in them. But then have I made it about myself? No, because I honestly want those people, the kids that I will end up teaching, my students, to learn something. But should I feel bad because I got fulfillment out of it? No. Isn't that the whole idea of choosing your career, is that you want to choose something that you will feel fulfillment? But being a teacher is tough. I've been having some conversations, and there is a lot of red tape and paperwork that teachers have to go through that stop them from actually teaching. And the difficult part about that is all those things, all those ridiculous stuff, the forms, the classes, everything else that these teachers have to do, evaluations, none of it is made by teachers. It's made by the high-ups who have never been in classrooms. Why they've never been in a teaching environment, I don't know, and why they would get a job where they're influencing people that they can't relate to makes no sense to me. But, and the person that I was having this conversation with, they warned me that nowadays teaching isn't like that. That teaching is a lot of red tape, and you have to do all that ridiculous stuff that means nothing just so that you can be a teacher. And it wasn't that they were warning me not to be a teacher. It was just that they were concerned I didn't understand the reality of it. But now that I do, I don't care. There's this beautiful quote that I found, and it's, the reasonable man adapts to the world, but the unreasonable man adapts the world to him. Therefore, all progress is based on the unreasonable man. And I am unreasonable. When this person told me these things, that there was so much red tape and people who were controlling teachers' lives, I didn't care. I'm still confident. And I honestly believe that I can change it. I have an unreasonable amount of optimism that I can change my environment. When I think something is ridiculous, I am not going to sit back and pretend like it doesn't exist, or just keep my head down. That's not who I am. And I'm not going to give up either. When I become a teacher, if there are things that I think don't make a positive difference in my life, the student's life, the school district, the school, whatever it may be, if it's not making a good change, then I'll fight it. And even if somebody says, don't, I don't think I'll listen. I'm unreasonable. And that's not that I don't want to listen to other people's suggestions. I believe that communicating and collaborating is a very important part of life, but somebody told MLK not to stand up. Somebody told Rosa Parks not to sit in the back of the bus. I know I'm making racial examples, but they're the best examples for this. People are told not to do stuff all the time, and they do it, and it ends up being better than it was. Steve Jobs, he was told that his computer company would fail, that nobody was looking for a personal computer, and now he's revolutionized technology forever because everyone has a computer at their house, and everyone has a phone for the same reason. Because he was unreasonable. Somebody said nobody's looking for this, and he said yes they are. So that's what I want to do. If it takes attempt after attempt, if it takes paperwork after paperwork, I'm not going to give up on changing something that shouldn't be there, or changing something that should. For example, I don't think students should have to sit in rows, column by column, row by row, neatly, in the worst desks of all time, for 8 hours a day and have somebody tell them what to do. Now, the reality is, some of that you have to keep consistent. Because that would be my job as a teacher, is I have to get curriculum out. But letting kids be who they are, learn the way that they want to learn, that's not up to me. It's up to me to teach them the way that they want to learn, but it's also up to me to let them learn how they want to learn, right? And that's the most difficult part, is every kid, every person is an individual and they learn a different way. And some kids, they find that the way that we learn in school is difficult. They don't understand, they might be very smart people, but they just don't do school. I know a lot of people. A good friend of mine, he's probably the smartest person I know, but he doesn't do school. He just can't get through it. Because the way the system is won't allow him to be who he is. But how am I supposed to, as a teacher, create an environment for 30 individuals who learn differently and teach them all the same thing in 47 minutes? That's unrealistic. That's unreasonable. And it's up to me to figure out how I can do that. And I don't have any solutions for that right now, but I know that I can find a way to. I know that I can figure out how to individualize learning in a group setting. I know that there has to be some way that I can teach 30 kids the same thing in 47 minutes, despite them all being different learners, and have them all comprehend it. There just has to be a way, right? And if there's not, I'll find one. But I can't live my life believing that there's not. Even if I don't come up with something in the next year, in the next 2 years, before I become a teacher, I will spend my time thinking about how I can do that. Because that's important to me. Education is so important, and the idea that some kid knows he's being taught something but can't understand it is so sad. The idea that some kid is sitting in a classroom listening to a teacher talk and doesn't understand what's going on is so difficult for me to think about, because you've made that kid who is probably intelligent feel stupid. Because you've put him in an environment that doesn't allow for him to learn. And it sucks that I do well in school. Because I don't understand. I mean, there are classes that I have trouble with, but the way the school system is set up, I feel like I can keep up and I can learn the way that they expect us to. Which is another tangent that I could go on about how doesn't that just make me a robot who's consistently doing worksheet after worksheet, but that's not what I want to go into. Now I've lost my train of thought because I thought about doing that. Oh my gosh. No, I'm going to have to go back and listen. Give me a sec. Alright, so I figured it out. I was talking about how some kids struggle in that environment and how because I don't relate to that, it's going to be difficult for me to find a solution. But that's when collaboration, communication comes in, because I can talk to people, I can communicate with students who are feeling that way, who are feeling like they don't learn the way they're expected to, and figure out a solution. Because I don't relate to it, I don't understand, and this kind of makes me sound like a dick. Like, kind of preppy and like I'm good at school. Fuck you, Declan. Oh, I'm not supposed to say my name on this. Alright. Well, I don't care. Yeah. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to say is that I don't relate to those kids, and I wish that I did so that I could help them. Because nothing is more valuable than experience. And experiencing not being able to learn in the environment that you're expected to learn is difficult. Alright, I told you guys that I was all over the place, so, I'm just trying to think about what I need to talk about next. I've been in a bad mood. Like, the last 2 or 3 days. Like, I've just been in a bad mood. Why? I ain't mad, you know what I mean? And part of me thinks lacrosse season is coming up, right? And right now, we're only doing 3 days a week. But when lacrosse season starts, we're going to be doing 5 to 6 days a week after school or on the weekends. And already with just 3 days, I'm feeling overwhelmed. And maybe that's why I'm not in a good mood. But I'm feeling overwhelmed by the idea that I need to complete my schoolwork and do lacrosse. Not to mention the idea that I should, as a human being, have enough time to do the things that I enjoy, like this. I know, for example, that once lacrosse season starts, that these podcasts might not be as often, if at all, or as long as they normally are, which is upsetting because I should, as a student, I should, as a human being, be able to experience things that I enjoy and do those things and not have to stress about cramming them into my life. Because those should come first. Joyful things should come first. And it's not that I don't find joy in school, and it's not that I don't find joy in lacrosse, but those things also come with stress. This doesn't come with any stress because I'm free to be whoever I want. Whoever I am, not who I want to be, whoever I am. I can be who I am. If somebody doesn't understand who I am, I could just ask them to listen to all the podcasts and then come back and they would be like, oh, you're like a good dude and you like think and like, you know. That'd be cool. I don't think I'll do that though, because I'm afraid of people's judgment, whether I like to say that out loud or not. I don't like it when people judge me, and I want to be that person that's like, I don't care what you think, you don't matter to me, but I'm not. I wish I was, and I'm a little bit. I think I'm courageous enough, because posting this on the internet, which anybody could find, and people have been talking about it, right? Like, I've had people that I haven't sent this to come up to me and be like, oh, your podcast's cool. Yeah, it is. But somebody could find this and judge me, which sucks. Especially lacrosse guy. I want to say that I'm not afraid of their judgment, but I am, and I honestly think that somebody at lacrosse is going to find my podcast or hear about it and be like, what the fuck, that's gay. It's not. It's who I am. It's what I like to do. And I wish that I could be like, oh, don't talk to me, because I don't care what you think. But some part of me does. Whether I respect you or like you or not, whatever you think will somehow affect me. And that's upsetting, and I wish that I could fix that for myself. I wish that I could be that person that says, I don't care what you think. And I try my best to be. I dress the way that I want, and I do the things that I want, but not without thinking in my head how other people are judging me. For example, the other day, I was standing around, right after I got my haircut, I shaved my head, I was standing around, and I could see these people talking to each other about me. And I got insecure about it. And I think these people are okay or whatever, but it's not that I should value their opinion. Especially on something like my haircut. That seems ridiculous that I would even be the slightest bit upset about them talking about me. So maybe that's why I'm in a bad mood. I don't know. That I've been trying to juggle everything, and it's been tough. But that's not an excuse, and doing more things should put me in a better mood. The idea that I have the resources and ability and opportunity to go to school, play lacrosse, and also do my hobbies is something that other people wish for. But it has been tough. My reality has been tough. True reality, not so much. But what I've experienced, it's just been, maybe I've been less positive than I want to be. And hopefully getting this out tonight will put me in a little bit better of a mood, because I'll have talked about everything that I want to talk about, and also podcasting makes me think, and it makes me hear my own ideas, and I try my best to practice what I preach and be a positive person and not complain about opportunities and privileges. Does that make sense? So, and with lacrosse, we had a workout the other day, and I was slow. I was really slow at this workout. And I have excuses, and I will state them now. If you don't want to listen, skip ahead. But one, they told us we were supposed to be taking breaks in between reps, and I didn't, because they were like, take breaks is not about going hard the whole time. And I was like, oh, I'll take a break. You don't have to tell me twice. So I was taking breaks, everybody else wasn't. And I had good form on all of my reps, and I think a lot of people sacrificed form for speed and ended up finishing before me. That was me, that was my excuses. But despite that, I should still be a little bit faster than I was. I was getting close to last. And that includes people who are not fit. Which sucks. It made me feel really bad about myself. And comparing myself to others shouldn't be why I felt insecure. It should be that I didn't think I was at my best. But it's true. I looked around and I saw the people that were in front of me and behind me, and I was upset by it. I was genuinely upset. I've gained some weight to bulk up, but some of that weight has been not muscle and fat, and I haven't been doing a ton of cardio during the off season. And so it is my fault. It's completely my responsibility that I feel slow, that I am slower than I'd like to be. But I felt genuinely upset about it. And that meant I needed to make a change. That I didn't want to be upset by that anymore, and I wanted to be faster. And so that was yesterday, and today I came home from school and I went on a run, and I got like 10-15 minutes into the run, and my feet started to hurt like really, really bad. I have high arches, and it turns out the shoes that I was wearing were not great for that. But part of me thinks I should have been able to push through that pain and just keep running. And the other part of me, the part that's probably more logical, was like, this shouldn't be hurting. I'm pretty sure it's the shoes. Let's go figure this out. So I went and I bought new running shoes. The guy like filmed me in the place, and we tried on different shoes. It was cool. It was a cool experience, and I feel like I got the ones that fit and will be beneficial to my running, that I can run a little bit longer. But that's about it, you know. I wanted to be faster, so I made a change. And hopefully I'll continue to make change, and hopefully I'll continue to run after school, etc., etc. And push myself, and by the beginning of the season, I'll be better than I am now. Declan, I don't like saying my name on this podcast. I don't know why. I think it's the idea of attaching my name to something on the internet that anybody can see for basically ever is strange, but then again, I did that for like a long time with social media, so that's just how it goes, I guess. But I'm going to be better than I am right now. And I'm not going to be better than the people around me. Or at least I'm not going to think that. Or I probably am. Don't lie to myself. I probably am. I'm going to think, wow, I worked harder, and now I'm faster than that person that I wasn't a month ago. But at the same time, it's more important. Despite me having that thought, it's more important that I'm better than I am now, because I improved. And that's what I want to continue to do, is I want to continue to improve. I want to continue to get faster and better at lacrosse. Because lacrosse really does make me happy. When I play well, I feel a lot of joy in the sport. It's when I don't play well that I start to spiral. And I'm sure I'm not alone on this. And I'm sure that people spiral about other things, but when I don't play well, I start to spiral and think that, like, maybe I'm just bad at lacrosse in general, that I'm not good enough to play this season, and I shouldn't play at all, I should just quit. And those are thoughts that genuinely go through my head. Like, driving home from that practice, knowing that I was so beat up by how I performed, I was like, maybe just lacrosse isn't for me. And that was so upsetting because lacrosse is. I really love the sport. I enjoy playing it. It's when I don't play well that I start to spiral down and go to these colossal thoughts that quitting is my best option, I shouldn't play in college, it's not going to get me anywhere, it's wasting my time and stressing me out. And that's kind of sad, you know, because I don't want lacrosse to stress me out, but it does, you know, because I want to perform well, I want to do well, and it also takes time. It takes time to get better and play well, and it takes time to actually practice, you know. It's going to take my time after school to do that, and I'm going to have to deal with that and still be on top of my schoolwork and everything like that, and that's going to be stressful. But my hope is that I can rise past that stress, and I can realize that these are privileges of mine, and that I can do it. I am capable of practicing every day and doing my homework every day. I really am. It's just whether I tell myself that, whether I actually do it. All those things play a factor. And I do wish that there was no stress behind all those things, because there shouldn't be, but there is. I don't have a choice, right? So I can either complain, I can either say I'm just not good enough, I don't have the time for it, whatever. But that's ridiculous. I shouldn't do that. I'm really this like this quiet and calm energy is hitting me right now. And I hope that you guys are experiencing it too. This weird sensation that something important has just been said, that needs to set in. For me, mostly just for me. That despite those things being stressful, they are privileges, and I should work hard and take advantage of them, because they will make me, if I can do that, they'll make me a happier and better person for it. Yeah. Wow, that is important. Alright, that is important. So I'm just letting that sink in. You guys are going to be here for that. If at any point one of you guys hears me say something like it's stressful, will you just remind me or tell me to go back and listen to this? And just be like, yo, homeboy, you said it once, you should say it again. This, and this. Boom. And then that can be a reminder for me why I'm doing it and why I shouldn't start spiraling and say that I should quit. All these things. Because I do want to play lacrosse in college. I really think that. I think that I want to stay in Colorado, and I think that I want to play lacrosse in college. Because being a healthy, athletic person and still enjoying the sport is something that I want to be a part of. and all these things are good. School does get on top of me sometimes, though. I'm going to Mesa College, this weekend. I leave Friday midday. So, what's that, like third period or something like that? Fourth period is when I leave. And I head up there. And it's for a lacrosse prospect camp. And it is tying me up a little bit. And it's giving me a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of stress because, one, I don't like missing school. And two, not only am I missing school, but I'm going to miss part of the weekend where I could catch up on that school. And whatever else. And part of me wants to get all my work done tonight. Be ready on Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Oh my gosh. Be ready for tomorrow to take tests and quizzes that they're taking on Friday. But also there's a part of me that thinks maybe I should just wait till Monday. And I'm going to reason through this out loud. So doing it tomorrow will add a workload on tonight and tomorrow during the day that will cause me stress. Whether I like it or not, it will, and it will cause me anxiety. But it'll be done and it'll be fresh on my mind, and I don't have to think about it for the weekend. Or I can just be a person. I can just be a kid for once and just say, fuck it, I'm not doing my homework tonight. I'm going to be just like 80%. I'm not going to decide a percentage. I'm going to be like kids that I know where they can miss school and then they just make the stuff up afterwards. And I don't know what's the best option. Because this is the part of me that I talked about in the last podcast where there's two parts. There's this productive part and there's this wanting to have a less stressful life part where I just want to be a person and not have to worry about perfection. And I said in that podcast that anything essential but I don't know whether this is essential to my grades because am I going to do better Monday or Tuesday of next week on the tests? Having been through a long a weekend that I Saturday, Friday and Saturday I'm going to be at the college. And Sunday I'm going to have time, but I'm also going to have to work and stuff. I deliver papers in my neighborhood. Yes, that's kind of embarrassing, but it's good money and, you know, I get to listen to podcasts or whatever while I'm walking, so that's cool. So what's the solution? Do I do it tonight? Yeah. Oh my gosh, there we go. Alright, so I'll be prepared for half of it tonight. And then the other half I can leave for the weekend. And I can leave for Monday and Tuesday. Therefore, I can be both parts of me. I can be a little bit productive, and then I can just relax. I can snuggle up in my bed and watch some Netflix, watch some Hulu, watch some YouTube videos, because that's just what I want to do. And then it'll be good. damn, this podcast is helpful, bro. Yo, everybody should do this. No, maybe it's just me because I think way too much because, that's just how it be, but it was helpful. It was helpful to talk that out loud and figure out what I wanted to do. So, I'm just going to say this out loud so I remember. I need to make a Quizlet for the vocab in Lang class and finish the math worksheets. Finish 2 math worksheets. That's what I need to do after this podcast. Now that I say that out loud, that's honestly not a lot. And I feel like I'm kind of being silly by saying that. But it's 8:10 and I'd like to be in bed around 9. And I still want to have some time to just chill. But I can do it. I can. I wonder how long I've been recording for. But I can do that. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Note to self, you guys are a part of it. This is just real for me. That's, like, some of these podcasts are way too perfect. You know what I mean? These people have, like, set and plan notes and scripts and continuous thing, and they just don't stumble or think or actually, like, reason out things out loud, which is why I'm doing the podcast. Maybe they do it for different reasons. They probably do it for different reasons, but I'm doing it so I can reason things out loud and get all my thoughts out loud. Oh my gosh, because it's always coming. Okay. There's this quote that I got the other day, and I don't remember it exactly, and I know it's from Martin Luther King, but it was something along the lines of, taking the first step despite not seeing the entire staircase. I get that it takes a brave person to take the first step despite not seeing everything that's going to happen before it. And that's big. That's something that I struggle with. I feel like I have trouble in environments and situations where I don't know what's going to happen. So that's a good quote for me. I think that's a good quote for me. And then here's something that I thought of today. So I'm reading the book Scarlet Letter, or I guess I just finished it. Oh, go me. Why didn't I give myself a congratulations for that? Oh yeah, I finished that book tonight. Dab. Yes. Another novel completed. I'm awesome. This is a quote that I came up on my own, and maybe it's already out there, and I'm just being an idiot, and I just don't know. But I came up with it because the whole book is around the idea of sin, which I can get into if I decide I want to, but the quote that I came up with is, "It takes a good man to live a great life, and it takes a great man to admit that he hasn't." Process that, think that. Alright, so the idea behind the quote is that the greatest of people are the ones that make mistakes just like anybody else. Because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Especially the people that want to make change, especially the people that are striving for difference. So the great people, the ones that we look up to, the ones that we revere, they're the ones that made mistakes, and then they looked at themselves and they said, that wasn't right. I didn't live a great life right there. And I made a mistake. So the whole idea behind the quote is that sure, you can live a great life, but what's even better and what makes you an even more developed person is learning by experiencing your mistakes. And I hope that I can do this in my life, and I feel like I have as much as I can, and I'm sure that there are places that I didn't, but and in the future that I should. But I always want to learn, and I've talked about this so much because it's always on my mind, the idea that every experience in life is either a positive experience or a learning experience. And it can be either, and it can be both. But that's what they are. Do you know what I mean? For example, what I'm thinking about right now is the idea of being on your phone. Sometimes being on your phone and watching Netflix or doing whatever, that can be a really positive experience. You enjoy the show, you get to relax, whatever. But there's also times when it's not good to be on your phone. And that can be a learning experience for when it's not okay to be on your phone, when you've been on your phone too long, or whatever. The other idea that I've been battling with a little bit in my head is the idea of good and evil. I'd like to think that I'm a good person. And I'd like to think that all people are good people. And I've said this before. I've said that I believe all people are good people. And the people that we brand as bad people are just good people that have had something done wrong to them. And those people, the ones that have had something done wrong to them, are the ones that we need to treat better. We always brand these people as evil, as bad, and that only makes them more bad. That only makes them believe that they are bad. But one of the most powerful things I ever heard, and ironically I heard it in the Catholic Church, but it was the only sermon in my entire life that in the Catholic Church I comprehended and I got a lesson from. For good there has to be evil. Without darkness there can be no light. And I hope that that's true. So here's what it is. How can you have a good person if there are no bad people for them to be good too? How can you be if everybody is a good person, therefore nobody is a good person? So you have to have evil, otherwise you won't have good. And speaking this out loud, I feel like I'm not hitting the point. And I'm gonna keep trying. In a war, there's good guys and there's bad guys, right? In rivalries, there's good guys and there's bad guys. Creek versus Regis, we look at ourselves as the good guys, and Regis is the bad guys. We don't like them. But we couldn't be the good guys if there were no bad guys. If there wouldn't be a rivalry, we wouldn't be able to say, oh, we're the good guys, if we didn't look at the other person and say they were the bad guys. So how am I supposed to believe that everything should be positive if once I make that change and there is no evil? If I honestly believe with the snap of my finger I could change the world and only have positivity, what does that mean? It means nothing. Your value goes down as soon as the item that you're selling is not rare. So your value as a person will go down as soon as other people are good. And I'm struggling with this because there's so much to it, you know? Does it make me an unvaluable person if I can change the world and make people positive? And is it fair for me to say that people lose their value if less people are bad? No, that shouldn't be the case. But if you're evaluating it, somebody always has to be at the bottom of the totem pole, you know? Whether I like it or not, there are winners and losers in life. Or at least winners and learners. And the best person, the bottom of the totem pole, if I can get them to be good people, what are the people at the top? Sure, they're great, but you can't compare good to great on an entire totem pole, on all the people in the world. Eventually, that comparison means nothing. Eventually, despite the people at the bottom of the totem pole acting like good people, they're still going to be viewed as the worst people. And so is that evil? They're not evil, no. But there can be no great without no bad. And that sucks, the idea that, like, I wish that I believed that. Sorry, I'm moving around pillows and stuff, whatever. I wish that I could believe that everybody can be valued as a good person, but if as soon as I do that, as soon as somebody is valued as a good person, what does that make somebody who is a great person? Does that devalue them? It shouldn't. And it shouldn't devalue the people that are good because there are great people. So how? This isn't possible. The world is not possible. The reason that we have so much evil in the world is because good has to fight the evil. It's a natural battle that positivity needs to fight negativity. And I believe that positivity should always win. But in my head, if positivity is making no change, if they're not getting rid of negativity, then are they being positive? Are they being valued the same way? Do I see them as valuable? Okay, we've been going for about an hour and 4 minutes now. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water, clear my throat, and I hope that I understood, I hope that I explained that well. It made sense to me. And I hope that it made sense to you guys. Because that's an important concept that I think about. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wish that all things could be positive. But maybe that's just not realistic. And we'll get there. I think we will. It could take 10 years. Probably not. Could take millions of years. Probably not. Could take billions of years. But eventually, I honestly believe at some point, there will be only positive energy. And knowing that is something in the very far future brings me joy. That someday there are going to be people, maybe not people, they're going to be way more advanced and evolved than we are. That they're going to live in a positive universe. But the problem is there's so much complication in positivity. For example, bullying. People say don't bully, but then sometimes bullying can be good. And that makes me so angry that a kid who is made fun of for being obese so consistently that he decides to become healthy and lose weight, he is now healthy. He was unhealthy, but now he is healthy. And the reason that he was healthy, because somebody made fun of him. And that's so ridiculous, and that sucks. Is the real thing that should have been done is that kid should have been looked at and he should have been said to, you're not healthy right now. But that's okay, because you will become healthy. Because we, together, can make you healthy. So is it that negative force of bullying that had a positive outcome? That kid did it. He changed negative energy into positive energy. But that negative energy had to exist in order for him to make that positive energy. This is a very complex idea, and the idea that I'm already at hour 1 of this podcast and I'm starting to get a little parched and I don't want to keep drinking water as I take a sip. Every couple of minutes so I can continue to explain this. And I think that I have. Honestly, I think that I've hit the points that I want to. Because at this point, it could be a lot of... It's just more examples or anything else. But the idea is out there, and I'm glad that I got the idea out there. The idea between good and evil, and can good exist without evil? I don't know. I hope that it can, but part of me thinks that it can't. And that's the summary, really. In the same way with my own importance, I think about this all the time. I think everybody's an important individual, but as soon as you say everybody is important, then it is commonplace to be important, and therefore they aren't. By definition of the word, because important symbolizes that it has more value. So, me believing that everybody is important, does that diminish my own importance that I feel? Does that diminish my ego? And should it bother me that it does? I feel like I play an important role in people's lives. And I feel like I play an important role in my own life, for sure. 'cause it's me. That's how it works. And I hope that I play an important role in the world, but if I preach that everybody is important, then doesn't that mean that nobody is important? That same paradox continues. So I don't know, you know? And I wish that I had a more concrete example. Okay, so if a yacht costs $1 million, and then you give a yacht to everybody, they're still worth $1 million, right? Yeah. So my own importance, our own good or evil, that doesn't matter. There we go. That's the solution that I think is important. Is I keep thinking about this as in comparing things, and I haven't looked at it rationally. Just because everyone is positive doesn't mean somebody has to be negative. Comparison is the ultimate evil, and the idea that I keep comparing good and evil, I keep comparing the bottom of the totem pole, I keep comparing people's importance, is the real problem with my logic. Because we can't brand a good person the worst person just because everybody is a little bit better than they are, despite them still being a good person. So everybody is important, but their importance, their value of importance doesn't go down just because everybody is important. Comparison is the real evil in my argument. I've been looking and comparing and trying to find the good and evil, the valuable and the non-valuable, but the real non-valuable, the real evil is the comparison. And yes, it just took me like 20 to 30 minutes to figure that out, but I did. And I feel confident in that answer. Because the same way is true with everything else in life. Comparison will always be the real evil, and that's why social media is so toxic. It's people just comparing themselves to other people. And that does nothing except for break people and then build them up on false self-esteem. And I compared myself to other people in lacrosse. But in reality, I really did try my hardest, and I ran as hard as I could, and I did as best as I could, but it just wasn't great compared to them. But does that mean that I didn't do a good job? No. But I compared myself, and that's the real evil here. That's the real problem. So I want to thank you guys right now, and I'm literally getting shivers right now. Having the opportunity to talk that out, and maybe nobody even watches this one. No, maybe nobody even listens. But I was able to think that through, and if you're here or not, thank you. because you gave me the opportunity to figure that out. There has been a lot of pauses and silence in this specific podcast, and I want to appreciate that for a second. It just happened again. Silence can speak 1,000 words. So, if you didn't like the silence, I apologize. And if you did, so that you could comprehend these things, then I'm glad that you enjoyed it. But, like I said before, as much as I am posting this and people are going to watch, I am doing this for myself. And those pauses were helpful for me to collect my thoughts and experience what I had just spoken. There are a couple more points on my sheet. And I'll talk about them quickly. Before I do, code word for today is paradox. If you don't know how to spell that, and I hope I'm spelling this correctly, but honestly I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's P-A-R-A-D-O-X. Paradox. That is the code word for today. The last thing that I want to touch on, which I kind of think is funny, is that I've been holding on to the fact that somebody called me in 8th grade a man whore, and I am still holding on to it. I still haven't let it go. That judgment that they made 3-4 years ago, whenever it was, I'm still holding on to the fact that somebody called me a man whore. And I'm going to say it out loud that I'm letting go, and hopefully saying it out loud lets a piece of it go. But I know it'll stick with me. That's the reality. And that's my truth. That's me speaking my truth. That's me being honest. I will always be honest on here. If I post this on the internet and it's false, if it's not who I am, that is worse than if I post it and something I say comes back to bite me. That's the truth. That's the honest truth. So, if you ever feel like I'm not being honest, please let me know. And if it's me not being honest, so I'm not putting positive energy out there, that's different. Like, I could be honest to everybody, and I could be like, your outfit sucks, your handwriting's terrible. But that's not going to do anything. That's not something I need to say out loud. That's not an honesty that's valuable. You should be honest to yourself, and you should be honest whenever you can. But don't go... That's a complicated thing that I just can't get into right now. But I will be honest. Thank you for listening. I know this was a long one, and it was complex and everything like that. But it was valuable for me, and I hope it was valuable for you. Goodbye, I guess. I don't really know how to end these things. Stop?